exist. Not a physical weight, something worse. The belief that you are the one making everything happen, that you are navigating this world, holding it all together, responsible for every outcome, every failure, every success. What if I told you that's the single biggest lie you've ever believed? And what if seeing through it doesn't change what you do, but completely transforms how you move through life? This is non-duality, not philosophy, not a belief system, just reality stripped of fiction. Here's the thing. We don't apply non-duality to life. That would be like trying to mix sunlight into a shadow. Daily life is non-duality. It shows up as your errands, your conversations, your emails, your anxiety at 3 a.m. The idea has always been that there's a you navigating a world, but that's exactly where we're wrong. It's all one big delusion. See it, and there's nothing to integrate, only a change in where you place your attention. Decisions still happen, meals get cooked, jobs get done. But the imagined doer, the one holding the world on his shoulders like Atlas, that one was never real. Action simply flows, just like breathing, uninterrupted. Life doesn't become passive or active because you realize this. It becomes clear when the mind doesn't pause to filter every experience through the story of me. The moment is crystal clear. You respond to what's in front of you, not what you think should be. Stop carrying what was never yours to carry. Let me put this somewhere concrete. In a classroom, the teacher stops being the authority and becomes the space in which learning happens. Control-based teaching becomes obsolete, replaced by curiosity, and the students feel it immediately. They sense that freedom. Why? Because it gives them permission to relax the grip on their own identity. You don't preach, you are the world. You look a student in the eye and ask, where does thought come from? Then you let the silence say the rest. In relationships, the shift is subtle but life-changing. You stop being the hurt partner, the parent, the spiritual person, the strong one, the wounded one. You simply aren't there. Now, before you misunderstand, of course you still say no. Of course you set boundaries. This isn't about becoming a pushover, but the drama that clings to every exchange? Gone. Why? If you don't exist, then who is the one you're going to defend? Who needs to win? Who was wronged? And yes, money matters. Rent matters. All of it still exists. Non-duality isn't about romanticizing poverty. But you'll notice decisions get simpler when they're not weighed down by identity. What do I need? What's the best thing to do now? You just act. Action works way better when it's not connected to who you think you are. Here's what breaks every seeker. Awareness doesn't need to be maintained. Why? Because you can't maintain something you are without doing anything. What appears and disappears isn't awareness itself, it's only attention changing. Thoughts coming up, moods alternating, the normal human experience. Calling that a loss of awareness is like saying the screen ceased to exist because a different movie started playing. The problem isn't forgetting awareness. It's believing you ever left it. Anxiety, doubt, emotional chaos, they all make themselves known in awareness. When you're panicking, your body tightens, thoughts race. But what sees it all? What notices the spiral without being pulled into it? It's not about suffering itself. It's identifying as the one who suffers. The voice in your head says, why is this happening to me? But that me is made of thought. And thought can't suffer. It can only describe suffering. The problem, believing the commentary instead of checking the facts. So don't fight the mind. Don't try to silence it. Let the voice speak. Just don't answer. Let the emotion crawl out. Just don't pick it up. Spiritual concepts can become just another layer of suffering. The mind grabs them, turns them into standards, then punishes you for not living up to them. I should be aware all the time. Why am I still anxious? If I were truly awake, this wouldn't bother me. Ask yourself, who comes up with that? None of it is true. Awakening is the end of pretending perfection exists. Attention changes, habits reappear. So what? Every time you notice it, that's it. Noticing is freedom. Don't try to stay in awareness constantly. Just stop leaving yourself to chase thoughts. Even in the darkest moments, you don't disappear. The one asking, How do I stay aware? Is the awareness momentarily disguised as a seeker? Drop the disguise. This is where it gets uncomfortable. The world doesn't become more or less moral just because it's seen as an appearance in consciousness. Seeing oneness doesn't remove suffering. How could it? All it does is remove the illusion of two. Good versus evil, actor versus victim, helper versus helped. In appearance, everything simply plays out. Children cry, bombs fall, lives are saved. These aren't opposites. They're expressions of the same light, taking on every possible shadow. From the view of the separate self, that's infuriating. There must be justice, accountability, cause and effect. But in the absence of a separate doer, these are only repeating sequences. Just as a wave can't choose its shape, no one actively decides to be kind or cruel. The pattern just happens. And yet, this doesn't make action meaningless. It removes the imaginary owner. You see a child drowning, you jump in, not because you're a separate moral agent racking up karma, but because the body moves on its own. Pain in another body feels like your own, because separation never really happened. Compassion without identity is pure. It acts, then rests. No need for applause. The mind asks, but what should I do? That's just thought pretending to be a moral compass. What needs to happen will. What doesn't won't. Fire burns. Water flows. You speak, you act, you intervene, or you don't. The sense of being the author is nothing more than a mental overlay. Practice has no power to create what already is. All it does is clear what obscures it. You are not becoming awareness through discipline. And still, practice happens. Meditation, self-inquiry, walking and feeling your steps. These come up naturally, like breathing. The problem, thinking someone is doing them to get somewhere. Don't stop the effort. Drop the ownership of it. When you sit and ask, who am I? It's not a strategy. It's a mirror. The question doesn't lead you forward. It stops you in your tracks. The mind wants a sequence. Inquiry gives it a wall. That's why self-inquiry frustrates those using it as a method. It doesn't confirm the seeker. It reveals there isn't one. There's no contradiction between nothing to do and apply yourself completely. Being earnest means not lying, not pretending you don't care. Discipline isn't the enemy. It's only a problem when it imagines a goal. When discipline becomes natural attention, it has no weight. If practice becomes mechanical, stop. Identification has hijacked it. Ask why you're doing it. What are you hoping it will deliver? The answer reveals what still feels missing. What feels missing points to the belief in lack. Expose that, and effort becomes transparent. There is no one doing, but doing happens. A teacher shows you what is and isn't real. They don't offer answers. They remove assumptions. This only works when they don't reinforce your self-image. If they confirm your identity, your story deepens. If they undermine it completely, clarity can surface. What matters isn't who they are. It's whether your imagined self survives contact with them. The words aren't the teaching. The presence is the transmission, clear of personal agenda. When you're around someone who has nothing to protect, you begin to notice what it feels like to stop pretending. A teacher can't give you what you are, but they can make it harder to keep acting like you're something else. The real teacher leaves you with less than you arrived with, including the idea of needing a teacher. Satsang isn't a gathering. It can happen alone in a park, mid-conversation, with someone who doesn't speak. If you're listening without filtering, that's satsang. Only one thing matters. Do you leave with more self-concept or less? Non-duality doesn't flatten reality. It strips it of fiction. What remains? Action without ownership, care without identity, awareness seeing pain, responding, then letting go. No story, just what happens. You don't disappear. You were never there to begin with. And life goes on. Errands, conversations, emails, problems, beauty, all of it flowing like breathing, uninterrupted.